All right, to celebrate July 4th and Key's favorite number, number 4, we're going to give you guys the four teams. First, the four teams that are going to be in the conference championships this season, 2024. And I'm going to give you the four people, the four guys that are going to be in MVP conversation next season as well. So we're going to start out. I hope everybody is having a great July 4th. I hope everybody gets to shoot some fireworks, get some nice ribs on the grill. If y'all know how to cook those, burgers and dogs. If you're an amateur on the grill, that's to each their own. But I hope everybody's having a beautiful Independence Day, getting out near some water, getting out on the lake, getting out on the beach, maybe the pool. If you live in an apartment complex, I think that's where I'm head next. But I appreciate y'all listening in today. We're going to start with the four teams that are going to be an MVP. We're going to start with the four teams that are going to be in the conference championship, in 2024. We're going to start with the AFC. The AFC, this one's kind of interesting because, it's easy to say the Chiefs are going to be in the AFC championship, but I don't think so this season. I think they take a step back. It's hard to say that when they have Patrick Mahomes, right? When they have Andy Reid calling the shots. But there are a couple of teams that I see making a big time push this next season. The first one is the Houston Texans. They were one game away last year. Of course, they got mollywopped. And I mean mollywopped by the Baltimore Ravens, but they were one game away for the team that first year QB, rookie head coach, first year head coach. They're 1 year removed from having pretty much the second overall pick when they should have had the first overall pick on some lucky bull jive. You know what I mean? They don't have that number one overall pick. They're 1 year removed from that. And they're already making noise. They signed Stephon Diggs. They signed Daniel Hunter. They signed Joe Mixon. They make moves that scream, hey, CJ Stroud, we are all in on you, my guy. So let's see what we can do. They're improving on a team that was already making noise last season. They didn't take a step back anywhere. So I can absolutely see the Houston Texans being a team that makes it into the AFC Championship. And who are they going to be playing? They're going to be playing the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow and company making another run towards the Super Bowl. Let's not forget, the Cincinnati Bengals are 3 years removed from the Super Bowl and 2 years removed from that AFC Championship game. And last year was, let's put an asterisk next to that season. Like, why are we not putting an asterisk next to the season that the Cincinnati Bengals had? Joe Burrow was hurt for basically the whole season. And yeah, he played in some games, and it's hard to give him that excuse of, hey, man, I played, but I was hurt. Well, if you're on the field, you got to be ready to play, right? But this team struggled hardcore last year with no Joe Burrow. And this year we're looking. We invested in offensive tackle in the draft, defensive line, cornerback, and safety. We got Trent Brown that's going to be protecting Joe Burrow. That's been an issue for Joe Burrow ever since he got in the league. Can we please get this guy some protection? And I think this year the Cincinnati Bengals have worked on that. They continue to sign guys, Orlando Brown, Trent Brown. They also draft Amarius Mims out of Georgia with their first round pick. They go and get some guys to fill up that defensive line to compete with Trey Hendrickson, who is a top 10 pass rusher in the league. And they got plenty of young talent on both sides of the ball. I love the fact that they've got Jermaine Burton as a wide receiver 3 with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. That's a scary trio. That's a great refill from moving on from Tyler Boyd to going and drafting Jermaine Burton. I think that was a great offseason play by the Cincinnati Bengals. I could absolutely see this team making some noise again this year, especially because for whatever reason we aren't talking about them. I don't know why, but, to each their own. They are going to be back in the AFC Championship next year. Moving on to the other conference, the NFC Championship. This one's going to be interesting. It's hard to say the San Francisco 49ers won't be back in the NFC Championship. So I've got San Francisco. They're going back again. Hopefully Kyle Shanahan can at some point be clutch and, win a Super Bowl. Maybe someday. I don't know. But, I mean, this is a team that's, they're bringing everybody back. The team is just too good. Like, the team's too good. Kyle Shanahan is a great coach. It's hard to say that they're not going to make it. So, I mean, I got them in. Are they going to keep Brandon Ayuk? Let's see. Like, if Brandon Ayuk moves on, if Brandon Ayuk goes somewhere else, then, I mean, that's a completely different story. You start to look at a little bit less on the offensive side in terms of weapons, and you have to reevaluate, okay, is this still a team that can make it to the NFC Championship? But right now, yes, that they're going to be back in the NFC Championship. As bad as we don't want to see the same team doing it again and again, we switched it up in the AFC, but it's hard. The NFC is just not competing well enough. Maybe the Lions can compete with the Niners and make it to the NFC Championship. But the other team that I've got playing the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship is the Green Bay Packers. Why? Jordan Love is a dog. Like, do I need to say anything else? No, I don't. But I mean, I'm going to. I'm going to. This team was one game away from this game last season. They led the game until about 1 minute left in the game, where Christian McCaffrey ran it in, putting the San Francisco 49ers up 24-21. But even before that, Daniel Carlson missed a big-time field goal to put the Packers up 7 points. The score was 21-17 with like 6 minutes, 30 seconds left in the game. Daniel Carlson misses a field goal off to the left, and now when the Niners come down and score, they're up 3 points. And now we're scrambling. Jordan Love is scrambling, trying to use that rocket of an arm he has to make a play, slings it across the field. Terrible decision. Interception. 49ers win. But the Packers were winning this game until 1 minute left in the game. So to say that this team wasn't good enough just last season to be in would be false. And they are improving as well. They go and get Josh Jacobs. They invest in protecting Jordan Love with their first pick. With their first pick in the draft, with Jordan Morgan from Arizona. They go and get Xavier McKinney, who's just a production GOAT. He's been a production GOAT in New York, and now they're bringing him in. They're solidifying even more on the offensive side of the ball and on the defensive side of the ball. I think that this team is going to make some noise next season. And in the NFC, again, we're looking at the Lions. We're looking at, can the Eagles can the Eagles come back? Will the Cowboys ever actually do it? Man, that's always a question. The Packers, the Niners, these are really the teams competing for those 2 spots in the NFC Championship game. And, you never know, and the Panthers they might sprinkle their way in there, but that's for another day. Those are the 4 games, the 4 teams that are going to make it to the AFC Championship. We're going to continue celebrating on this July 4th. Hey, hang on. Do y'all like my, this is like that resort type, just celebrating the 4th. Everybody's outside. Like, let's just go ahead. We don't get to throw something like this on too often. So we're going to throw that on, but we're going to continue to celebrate July 4th and Key's favorite number 4, with the 4 MVP finalists next season. This is going to get spicy. I'm excited to get into this one, guys. So the first guy that we've got competing for that MVP winner is Jordan Love. we just talked a little bit about Jordan Love and his rocket of an arm, but this dude has to get his arm checked in a checked bag at the airport because they don't allow guns and rockets onto the plane. This dude is like, just go watch him throw the ball. It's so effortless. He's got that flick and it's going 40, 50 yards on a dime. He's a big play hunter and he makes great decisions with the ball most times. You know, we're going to forget about what happened in that wild card or in that divisional game versus the 49ers. But in his first full season as the Green Bay starter, I mean, he was 7th in passing yards. He was 6th in touchdown passes, 10th in passer rating. I mean, those are arguably the 3 most important stats as a quarterback. And I mean, in his first season starting, he was top 10 in all of them. He's only going to get even better as he continues on with his career. And he's one of my favorite guys to watch. I'm excited to see what kind of, I guess, second year, his second year starting, what kind of leap can Jordan Love make? That's going to be dope. That's going to be dope to see. And not to mention, like, he got these top 10 finishes with, I mean, his weapons were all right. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to act like he's got a Jamar Chase. He doesn't have a Justin Jefferson. He didn't have a guy who had a Nico Collins type of season. You know what I mean? Like, he's just dishing it, dinking it, dunking it, bombing it to different guys. Christian Watson was hurt for a lot of the season last year. So, I mean, it was Jordan Love and his talent that brought that. It wasn't, he wasn't getting carried by a CD Lamb. That was Jordan Love showing what Jordan Love can do, and you hope that his weapons develop this year too, and I think that they will. I think he's got some good guys out. Great guys, no, but he's got good weapons, and we'll see what they can do next season. The next guy, I mean, some guys might not like this one. Some guys might not because for whatever reason we hate on this guy for no reason, dude. Joe Burrow. Like, Joe Burrow is a dog. And how bad were the Cincinnati Bengals without Joe Burrow last season? They didn't threaten anybody. I mean, like, yeah, they won a couple games and they were close to 500 or whatever, but like that was not the same team that we saw 2 years ago make it to the AFC Championship 3 years ago in the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow at the helm. The clutchest player, to me, the clutchest player in the league. I mean, he's easily one of the most valuable players to his team in the entire NFL. So if he comes back and has similar stats and like finishes in a similar statistical way that he did in 2022, where he was top 5 in passing yards and passer rating. He was 2nd in touchdowns and he was 3rd in completion percentage. And he led 4 game-winning drives that season, proving the Joe Cool, the Joe Shiesty, the Ice Cold Joe. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these nicknames that came about in 2021 and 2022 because of how clutch he is. Those are all the small, intangible things that lead to a guy being an MVP conversation. Joe Burrow, man, he's a dog. 3rd. I'm sure that this is a guy who, might be on a couple guys' lists already, but CJ Stroud is that guy. Let's not play like CJ Stroud had a fluke season. Let's not act like CJ Stroud is going to have a fall-off year. I mean, you saw the way it looked easy. It looked effortless. It looked like he belonged the entire time. Like, that is CJ Stroud, an elite rookie season. Team will only see more success. We go out, we get Stephon Diggs. We go out, we get Joe Mixon. We get more weapons to add on to what we already had going in Houston. I just don't see how adding to, a beautiful recipe, just sprinkling a little bit of oregano on top of that, a little bit of paprika, a little bit of lemon pepper stepper on top of that. How does that make the team worse? How does that make CJ Stroud worse? I think CJ Stroud's only going to go up and get better from here, and he is going to be ready to take off in his second season. These guys, like, this is an exciting list so far. I'm excited to see what happens next. Who else is excited for NFL season, man? We are producing stuff through the rest of this offseason into the season next year. So, I mean, if you love this content, you love NFL, nobody else is putting out football stuff right now. If you are so excited for the season that you just need to hear more, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and give this a like, because we've got content coming out through July, through August, through training camp, through OTAs, through all this stuff, and into the preseason and regular season, man. This is going to be exciting. And finally, the fourth guy, my favorite number, July 4th, we're celebrating with the guy that I genuinely believe could win the MVP. Not just be in conversation, man. I think this guy could win the MVP next season. And if you've seen some of my videos already, you're going to know who this fourth guy is. That man is a bad man. It's that guy, Kyler Murray in Arizona. Kyler Murray, man, he is a dual threat GOAT. He can eat you alive through the air and on the ground. That helps you in MVP conversation, because when your job is to produce so much offense for your team and you do just that, you're going to be in MVP conversation, especially if your team sees some success. I said in my video about Kyler Murray, don't you dare let Kyler Murray get Marvin Harrison Jr. And we did. We let Kyler Murray get big play Super Mar. It's going to get scary in Arizona, I promise you. With that duo and Trey McBride added on, sprinkled on top of that with some extra protection from Paris Johnson Jr., who we drafted 2 years ago, going into his new season, this team is going to be interesting, man. They could make some noise, but they still could have a top 5 pick next season, you know? But so my thing with Kyler Murray is, if this team sees some success, if this team makes it to the playoffs, make some noise it's going to be because of Kyler Murray. And if that happens, Kyler Murray is going to be your 2024 MVP. These are all factoids, man. These are all the real deal, baby. And I think that this team with Marvin Harrison Jr. coming in, dude, like, this guy is generational. He might even revolutionize the wide receiver position. He's that good. And I think Kyler Murray is going to see so many fruits of that labor that he's put in to come back from injury. I think Kyler Murray looked pretty good last year coming off of injury. And now we've had an entire offseason to rehab, to prep, to get ready for your new season in 2024. I think Kyler Murray is going to make some noise. So just to recap for you guys, the 4 teams that we have going to the conference championship is the Green Bay Packers versus the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC. In the AFC, we're going to be looking at the Houston Texans versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The 4 guys, which there's a lot of overlap, right? Because you have to have success in order to be in the MVP conversation. So the 4 guys, Jordan Love, Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud. 3 of those guys I've got playing in the AFC and NFC championships. And then Kyler Murray is going to be the 4th, the wild card, the guy that we're going to have to see what he can do next season. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this newest episode of Key Knows Ball. If you liked what you saw, give this video a like. If you're new to the channel, man, I really do appreciate you watching, man. It means a lot. I hope you enjoyed this quick little 20 minutes. I hope this helps you get your way to work, from work, have a lunch break. I know I can't eat food without listening or watching to something. So hopefully, this was a little bright spot in your day. God bless you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.